Hey guys, thanks for joining me. We're gonna make some popsicles this evening. This is a first for me doing this, so let's see how this goes. We are doing all of this in honor of the fact that our Instagram, all three of our clinics have a separate Instagram. We're gonna pull all those together. Our new Instagram page will be at Aurora Veterinary. At the end of this evening, around 6:45 or so, Sam's gonna go ahead and put a QR code up so you guys can access that. Oh, here comes my wonderful little thing here so I can watch for your guys' comments, questions. Please let me know anything. I'll try to keep track of them. I know it's also on a little bit of a delay, so it's kind of a distraction for me too. Sorry guys. But we're making these popsicles because to encourage people to switch over to our new Instagram account, we are going to make this great gift basket. And the first thing we're gonna put in this gift basket are gonna be these cute little popsicle trays. For tonight's purposes, I'm not gonna put the wooden inserts in there. We're just gonna make them in this mold. I did go ahead and make a set of these, so we're gonna make and put them in the freezer so we can see them when they're done, what they look like. And it gave me a few extra insights I can share with you guys as well. But my first insight is this, once you fill it, is going to flap all over the place. So if you want to get a cookie sheet, or we have this really awesome cutting board here that will help you move these around into the freezer once you get started and have all this filled. Otherwise, you're going to have a big mess on the floor like I did and maybe have to start over. I came up with 4 different recipes of things to try. We're going to start with just a plain carrot one. There's lots of recipes out there. I just kind of came up with my own, some things you might have in the fridge anyways or in your kitchen. So great options for you guys at home. So I went ahead and I warmed some of these carrots up in the microwave ahead of time, and we're going to put them, use a little blender. I have a little blender will fit in there, or you can use a nice little mini chopper. You can get those at most stores, either one. So we're gonna make a little bit of noise, maybe a little bit of mess. Let's see what happens. We're gonna put these in here first. So like I said, these were cooked a little bit to make them be a little softer. You could probably also do it in the microwave if you needed to, but I put these in a pot. And then I kept some of the juice with them, so that'll help make these a little bit more liquid as we're going along. Oh man, here we go. No mess yet, but I promise we'll end up with one. Okay, bear with me guys. Here we go, wish me luck. We're gonna mix it up a little bit, bring this back over. Let's see what we got. Get our chunks back up at the top. Whoa, my goodness. Anybody want some carrots? Hopefully your dogs do. Okay, I might have enough now. Let's see. Move that out of the way. Put this off to the side. Okay. And then I just kind of put them in here. Make sure to pat them down a little bit. That way. Oh, see, I told you we'd make a mess. And when I made these, I kind of rounded it out a little bit. Things freeze and expand, but we're just gonna kind of make that look kind of cute. Maybe a little extra at the other end. Let's see, so that's a good healthy popsicle option for a dog that might have some allergies. We know carrots are good for certain dogs with allergies. We don't have a protein source in there. The carrots were cooked just a little bit, so it's going to change the sugar content and how that's expressed for the pet, but it is an option for dietary issues and also a lower calorie option than a lot of other treats. Okay, wonderful. So we're going to move on to our next one. This is just some canned chicken broth. If you want to be fancy, you can make your own. That would be awesome, much better than what I did. But make sure it's lower sodium. We want it to be lower sodium. Most broth is low fat, but something to think about if you're going in and buying them. Depending on what your dog's allowed to have protein-wise, chicken may be the right option. You might need to do a vegetable stock. Beef is another option. So great, cool things we can try. Let's see. Oh, see, this is going to be another messy one. So I thought, let's go ahead and make this look kind of neat. And I went ahead in my other ones and I put on this plate here, I have some peas and then some really thin sliced carrots just to kind of make it look cute. So I put some in there just as some decoration. They're floating this time. My other one's sunk. So every day is a new adventure. Yeah, the peas, those suckers are sinking. And so if you're gonna do these, and what I did for my other one was I filled it about halfway, put the stuff in, and then when I put it in the freezer, I came back a couple hours later, added some more peas and more carrots, and refroze the other half. So it was kind of throughout for them. So it gives them something really tasty, but also something a little crunchy, and it looks cute too. So I don't know if you can appreciate the little stuff floating in there, but the carrots are floating, the peas sunk. You can kind of even them out, but they'll wiggle around on their own. So that's another cool one to do. We'll get rid of our chicken stock here. So you would want to hold on to, if you're doing a whole set of these, you would do the first half, put it in the fridge, go ahead and come back out a couple hours later so that things are a little bit stable, and then you can add another layer. Okay, so one of my personal favorites, everybody loves a watermelon. I know it doesn't look like watermelon right now, but there are some chunks of watermelon in there. You cut up your watermelon, you have this big bowl of watermelon, and in the end you have all of this extra watermelon juice, right? Or you have this rind where you've cut all the meaty, wonderful pink parts out, and then you have that fleshy section right at the edge. And this would be a great way to use that. Your dog's not gonna care if somebody else ate all the watermelon off of it and there's a little bit there and that's what you're using. So that's a great way to use extra pieces and parts of things that you might already have in your kitchen. So I did keep some of the chunks, you'll see, kind of put those, see how there's going to be some chunks in there. So that'll be something neat. It smells wonderful. I know you can't appreciate what it smells like, but it's a great, wonderful, fabulous thing there. Okay, oh man, I want some watermelon. I don't know if you guys like it, but okay. So we're just going to fill that one up, and I'm slopping again. We'll clean that up. Okay, here we go. Good stuff. This one I didn't fill quite as full because it's very liquidy, so when you go to move it around, it's going to be easier to spill than the thicker carrot stuff was. So, okay. So, there's one flying right by. So, just another reminder, part of why we're doing these is because we're switching over our Instagram account. We're taking all 3 different clinics, putting them together, and going to be just one Instagram account in the next few weeks. It's going to be at Aurora Veterinary, so you'll want to follow us there. We're going to have this great gift basket. We're going to pull a name the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. I'll tell you more in a bit about, other than these molds, what else is going to go in that basket for the people too. So Chris, am having trouble seeing who is sending me messages because I can see it popping up there, but it doesn't look like there's any messages down there.
None so far that I see.
Okay, wonderful.
We've got lots of likes and hearts.
Okay, wonderful. So that's great. Likes and hearts. I love it. Perfect. But they don't have to be actual questions. So I have in here some wonderful Geauga County made maple syrup. So for our last one, I thought I would take some pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling, just canned pumpkin, and dress it up a little bit. So we are gonna add some maple syrup dots on it, and we're also gonna add some little mini marshmallows, so not too much there, but just something to make it look a little bit cuter and to make it fun. Hello, Marianne, I see you. Thank you for the shout out. So you can use a little toothpick and kind of dab it in there if you want to make some dots. You could just take a fork and drizzle it too. I've done that. I kind of did that 2 different, but just depending on your maple syrup, it might run really quick. So another great option would be to put your maple syrup in the fridge first, and that would make it so it would be a little bit thicker. Oh, here we go. We'll put all of this in there just to make it just a titch of sweet in there for them. Okay, and we'll put just a couple marshmallows on the other side, and then we're gonna start to load up some of our pumpkin. So we talk about pumpkin a lot to help bulk up stools sometimes, or dogs that might have some anal gland issues. So just something to keep in mind, maybe make it a little bit more fun for them. This smells good too. Not quite as good as my watermelon did, but it still is pretty gosh darn good smelling.
Mrs. Urban says hello.
Hello, Mrs. Urban. Hello. Wonderful. Thank you for checking in. So just like with the carrots, I was able to get it a little bit more mounded because I had more stability with that filling. Same thing for this pumpkin. So then we'll make it, I'm just a little bit more careful about putting this one in because I put those marshmallows on the other side and I don't want to completely suck up those marshmallows. So we'll see how this turns out for us. Wonderful. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of maple syrup again. I'm gonna do some dots. I'll see it just isn't very happy about this, so we're gonna, and you don't really see it once it gets on here, but it'll be on there for your pet to appreciate just a little bit of sweetness. You could always make it look cute, and you could put some little lines in it, I guess, too, if you wanted to make it look cute or wiggly or something. Make a little design. I don't know, have fun with it.
Mrs. Moore wants to know how often can they have these treats?
Oh, so it's going to depend on the size of your dog. So a smaller dog, probably not as often, and it's going to depend on which one you're doing, okay? I know that you would love to give Rhea these all the time, and Rhea would love to have a treat at all times. Just so you know, I have someone laughing in the background, Mrs. Moore. So, because she knows how much you like to treat your dogs as well, too. But it depends on how big the dog is. This would be a lot for maybe a little dachshund puppy. So you could maybe make some smaller dollops on some parchment paper, put that in the freezer. They also have lots of different kinds of molds that you could do. I would recommend it being a silicone one though. Some people will try to use the ice cube trays, and sometimes that's hard to get those back out of if they're plastic ice cube trays versus doing it for the plastic or the silicone. Well, we should be able to, and we'll test that theory shortly. We should be able to pop these out of here. When you use the wooden sticks, what should happen is you peel it back and then pull the wooden stick through this hole. I was not adventurous enough to try that yet today, at least not on a Facebook Live. Okay, so here we have a carrot one. We have low fat, low sodium chicken broth with carrots and peas. We have a watermelon, and then we have a pumpkin with some locally made pure maple syrup. So I'm not talking about the junk out of the off the store shelf that's mass made, not pure maple syrup. We need to make sure we're using good stuff in these. And then the cute little, just to top it off, the little marshmallows. That's more for us to look at and to say, oh man, that looks cute. So,
Mrs. Urban says Sammy and George are on a diet.
Yes, they are on a diet. However, something like a very small piece, so not, again, Sammy is a small dog, Georgie. They are smaller, so this would be a lot for them. If you want to make some smaller sections, you could do that for them, okay? So we're going to do some wonderful magic, and I'm going to go put these in the freezer. Again, we only filled the broth one halfway so that we can have a better distribution of the peas and the carrots. We would come back a couple hours later and add another layer, okay? Wonderful. Fancy magic. I'm going to go to the freezer and come out, and they'll magically be done. One moment, everyone. Okay. And voila, here we go. So You can see because I did a second layer, I have some peas and carrots at the top as well too. You can see, like this carrot one wants to just pop right on out of there. Another idea would be for the bigger dogs. I had some extra carrots from this morning, and so I just put it in this little plastic and put it in the freezer, and I just pushed underneath a couple times, and that sucker's gonna pop right out. This might be another thing for in the yard. They can chase it around and lick on it. Just watch that we don't have bugs or other animals coming to bother them at the same time. So that's another just real simple little plastic container. You can get those, throw them away. Sometimes little margarine or butter containers or yogurt containers would work as well too, because you don't necessarily need a lid. But it is like, that's pretty hardcore. I just did this at lunchtime today and it's frozen really well. Don't throw them. It is not a Frisbee. Don't let your dog catch this in their mouth. You will end up with bigger, larger problems and talk about extractions. So let's try these. Or well, actually, let's take another moment. Just remind everybody why we're doing this. We're switching over to the one Instagram account in the next few weeks. So everybody that switches over to that account for us, it's the @Aurora Veterinary. Once you switch over to there, you will be entered to win our basket that will be given away Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. So what we will be doing every Friday, so these popsicle molds are going to be the first thing. I have a second one, obviously, because I just put it in there. They will be part of the basket for the dogs. What we're going to do for people is over the next 3 Fridays, we're going to add something for the people, since we have the pet portion already in there. And you will find out each Friday what has been added, so you can look forward to what's coming. So let's see, guys. Let's cross our fingers and see if we can get these out without flinging them across the kitchen. So we'll start with our carrot one. Oh, that was super easy. I just pushed at the back too, and then it popped right out for me. So that was super easy. Still quite hard. Just be careful. Be very careful. But it would be another, we talk about treating our pets and using exercise, so them chasing that around outside in the yard. If you have a small dog, maybe put them in the bathtub and put it in there, because otherwise it's going to melt all over everything. So don't do it in the house unless you have an area you can clean really, really well. So same thing. Now we have our cute little carrot and pea one. You can see there's peas and carrots kind of all the way through there. So that's kind of a neat one. Very cool. Popsicles are cold. Now we're going to do our fun little watermelon one. And you can't really tell, but there were little chunks of watermelon in this you saw as I was making it. So that'll be a fun thing for them to come across too. And then let's get rid of this one so we can just have this all kind of on one plate. So let's see about this pumpkin and see what that looks like. Oh, that was pretty cool. So I did only put the marshmallows on the top of this one, so the other one would have had marshmallows on the bottom as well. Because the pumpkin is a little bit more chunky, there's little kind of open air pockets in there, so just something to keep in mind. I was trying to minimize those, but that's harder to do the thicker the material is that you're using. So, fun stuff. This is exciting. These, you saw how quickly these popped right out of here. I didn't have to work hard at all. If we were using plastic or something firmer that didn't have the flexibility to it, it would make it much harder to get those out. So again, if you don't have a silicone form to use, if you'd like to use some parchment paper for things that are thicker, obviously that's not going to work for chicken broth. But you could also always use something like these plastic containers too. Just put it in there and put it in the freezer. So wonderful stuff.
Mrs. Urban wants to know, would these treats be okay for cats as well?
So you could probably do the chicken broth one. Another option for cats would be, I don't know that they necessarily like the vegetables, but you could take some tuna and put that in a blender. We'll use that commonly for kitties with some issues with dehydration, is we'll take a can of tuna and the juice and put it with like a whole gallon of water, put it in a bigger blender, and then use that as like a tuna smoothie, we used to term that, to encourage them to drink more water. So you could certainly do that. Again though, that's gonna probably be pretty stinky, getting tuna juice all over the house. So you're gonna have to come up with a way or a location to do that so that they don't end up with stinky tuna house. Ooh, oh man. Okay. It's an interesting thought. So thanks for asking about the kitty cats. This was a little bit more geared towards dogs. But it would take a cat a long time for that to thaw and play and mess around. So you could probably put some food in it too, like some dry kibble. I just haven't tried it to know how that would work out and break up for the cat. You also need to have a cat that wants cold, liquidy kind of things. And like my hands are wicked sticky and gooey already. So just, again, I don't want to get in trouble because people got a mess in their house and it smells like tuna or chicken broth or pumpkin on the nice sofa. So just be wary of those things. Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions, but I appreciate you guys participating. Thank you very much. I'll be curious if your kiddos like them at all and are interested at all, but certainly a very minimal amount of watermelon or frozen carrot or chicken broth with peas or carrots. Those would be things, both of you guys, for your dogs. I would not be concerned about a small amount or playing with them. Again, outside in the yard, as it gets smaller, take it from them so they don't choke. But it could be a fun play toy. I bet you could get some awesome videos of that too. We'd love if you could share that with us.
Keep in mind, QR code.
Oh yes.
And link.
Yes, Sam's gonna keep me on task today. Sorry, I couldn't find the word. She's gonna keep me on task. So there will be a QR code. We're gonna post that at 6:45 tonight to help you guys get to where you need to be on our new Instagram page, the @Aurora Veterinary. That will encompass not just our Aurora location, but we can now have Streetsboro and Manaway all together in one place so that we can be concise about our posting and get you guys to the one place that has all the information for Instagram. Okay, so thanks guys for watching me today, our Facebook Live. I've been having fun doing these, so if you have some ideas, reach out to us, let us know. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening.